Do you know divers found an entire ancient city underwater, off India's coast, in almost the exact spot an ancient scripture said it would be? This is a story about a legend that archaeologists spent decades trying to either prove or disprove. According to Hindu scripture, particularly the Mahabharata, the god Krishna built a magnificent capital city called Dwarka on India's western coast. According to the same texts, after Krishna's death, the entire city was swallowed by the sea, disappearing beneath the waves forever. For thousands of years, this remained purely a story passed down through faith, with no physical evidence to confirm or deny it. For centuries, most scholars treated this simply as mythology, a beautiful narrative, not a historical record worth investigating scientifically. That assumption started to shift in the 1930s, when researchers began quietly investigating the coastline near modern Dwarka, in India's Gujarat state. Local fishermen had long reported finding strange stone blocks and pottery fragments tangled in their nets, small clues that something unusual might be lying beneath the water nearby. The real breakthrough came decades later. Between 1983 and 1990, marine archaeologist Dr. S.R. Rao led a series of systematic underwater expeditions off the coast, diving repeatedly into the Arabian Sea to search the seabed directly. Using early sonar equipment and underwater photography, his team combed the ocean floor section by section. What they eventually found stunned the entire field of Indian archaeology. Divers uncovered sandstone walls, a grid-like network of ancient streets, dozens of stone anchors, and the remains of what appeared to be an organized ancient seaport, sitting roughly 70 feet beneath the surface. This wasn't scattered rubble randomly settled on the ocean floor. It looked like a deliberately planned, carefully engineered ancient coastal settlement, exactly the kind of layout you'd expect from a real, functioning city. Onshore excavations near the underwater site added even more context to the discovery. Archaeologists uncovered pottery and artifacts dating back to around 1500 BC, along with an ancient seal referencing the wider region. Together, the findings suggested this had genuinely been an important trading hub at some point in history, one connecting ancient India with civilizations across West Asia through maritime trade routes. Naturally, the discovery reignited a passionate debate that continues to this day. Some researchers, and many devoted pilgrims, saw this as tangible, physical evidence directly supporting the ancient scripture, proof that a real, sophisticated city once stood exactly where the old texts had always described it. Dr. Rao himself stated publicly that the discovery helped establish real historical roots behind a tradition many had previously doubted. But not every scholar was convinced the underwater site was definitively tied to the legendary Krishna narrative specifically. Critics pointed out that precisely dating a submerged stone structure is genuinely difficult work, and that estimates for these particular ruins have ranged anywhere from 3,000 years old, to as recent as the medieval period, a significant gap that has never been fully, conclusively settled by researchers. As for why any ancient settlement here would have ended up completely underwater in the first place, modern geologists have proposed a far less mystical explanation than a mythological, divine flood. They point to gradual, well-documented tectonic subsidence along this specific stretch of Gujarat's coastline, a slow geological process causing the land itself to sink lower over many centuries of shifting, unstable earth. Research hasn't stopped, even decades later. As recently as 2025, India's Archaeological Survey conducted fresh sonar and multi-beam surveys around Dwarka and the nearby island of Bet Dwarka, uncovering new stone anchors, inscribed pottery fragments, and additional structural remains, steadily expanding the search area even further along the surrounding seafloor. So is this really the lost capital of Krishna, exactly as ancient scripture described it thousands of years ago? Archaeology alone can't fully answer a question rooted this deeply in faith. Science and belief don't always meet neatly on the same page. What we do know for certain is this: there is a genuine, extensive, ancient settlement lying beneath the Arabian Sea, real enough that researchers are still actively diving, mapping, and uncovering more of it, decades after the very first team went looking for a city most people had simply assumed was only ever a legend.